Good evening, children. Welcome back. Welcome to the chemistry class. You know that in the previous classes we have discussed about the some of the questions from significant figures, rounding off numbers, etc. Okay. So today let us start a new topic, that is atomic structure. Okay. So in the previous 1.5 month or so, we have gone through some of the basic principles of chemistry, how the chemical equations can be balanced, what are the laws that are going to govern the chemical reactions, etc. In that case, we have come across the significant figures, accuracy, precision, and when we can call it as precision, when we can call it as accuracy, etc. We have covered so many things in our previous topic, that is basic principles of chemistry. Today let us focus on, from today onwards, with respect to the atomic structure. Actually, as we have discussed the matter, the basic form of the matter is element. When an element is broken down into a finer division, when we go for finer division of the element, we end up with the only same type of atoms. For example, hydrogen element on fine division will give us hydrogen atoms. So atom is considered as a basic component for the matter. Okay. So in this topic we are going to look at how the concept was developed, how the atom was constructed, and what is the view of different scientists towards the atom structure, and how the other particles that are present in the atom were discovered, and how the particles are arranged in the atom, and how the scientists have looked at the arrangement of these particles within the atom, and they have proposed the atomic models. What are the different atomic models we come across? All these things we are going to discuss one by one. Okay. So the what do you call, the scientific temperament that is raised, or the scientific investigation that took place for the development of the atomic models, all these things we are going to discuss in our topic atomic structure. Okay. So let us have a small introduction to this particular topic, and then we focus on the actual discovery of the subatomic particles. So here if you observe, when we can expect the atom, or when we can got the idea, the scientists got the idea about the atom, it has started in a Vedic period. Okay. So if you observe the Indian Vedic period, in Indian Vedic period, the Maharshi Kannada is a great philosopher who actually did some experiments, and of course did some conclusions, and based on his idea, he said that the tiniest particle or the tiniest unit of matter is proposed by Maharshi Kannada, and he named them as Anu and Paramanu. The concept of Anu and Paramanu was given by the Indian philosophers, especially the Maharshi Kannada. In a Vedic period, he proposed that the matter is made up of very tiniest particles or tiniest unit, and they can be called as Anu and Paramanu. Okay. So here what exactly the concept that lying in this case is that, for example, if you are going to take a matter, as we know, matter can be a solid, it can be a liquid, or it can be a gas. Okay. Matter can be a solid, liquid, or gas. So when you take a matter, and if you go on divide it, or if you want to see the internal structure of the matter, this matter is made up of very tiniest particle, very tiniest unit, small unit, tiniest in the sense very small unit. That small unit is named as Anu and Paramanu. Of course, there is no experimental evidence for the philosophers. Okay. So Indian philosophers as well as the Greek philosophers, both these philosophers have given the concept that the matter is made up of very small unit, and but they won't have any experimental evidence. Generally, in case of science today, for example, if I am going to propose some theory, then automatically the other scientist will ask me to show the proof. Proof is required, experimental evidence is required. In that case, when in the olden days, Vedic period time, nobody has done experiments, and these things are given only on thinking, logical concept. They have think and they have given that all the matter whatever may be the existing in nature is made up of very tiniest particles or the tiniest units, but they won't have any experimental evidence, they don't have any proof, okay, but science require proof, and therefore this concept was ruled out, okay. At the same time, when the Indian philosophers were thinking in the similar direction, at the other side Greek philosophers, especially the Democritus, also proposed that matter is made up of extremely small particles called atoms. So he named them as atoms, okay. According to the Greek philosopher Democritus, the matter is made up of extremely small particle and he named them as atoms. What does the name atom give information about? The name atom come from Greek language, it is a Greek word, okay. What does it mean? It means indivisible. Atom means indivisible. So what is atom? Atom is indivisible. In other words, you can say that here the Democritus suggested that if you are going to take any matter, whether it is a solid, liquid or gas, if you go on cut the matter into smaller pieces, take a matter and try to cut the matter into small pieces. So when we are trying to cut the matter into smaller pieces, we are going to end up a small particle, the particle further cannot be cutted or further cannot be divided. If you go on cut the matter into small pieces, you are going to end up a stage where the particle that is obtained is not further divided. So that particle which is further division is not possible, he named that particle as atom. Are you able to understand? Take a matter, take any matter. For example, let me take this is remote, okay. It's a solid solid matter, okay. It has a mass and it is going to occupy some space, so it can categorize as matter. So if I am go on cut this matter into small pieces, this remote into small pieces, smaller pieces, I will end at a stage where the particle obtained, the small particle that is obtained is further not divisible. Further I cannot cut into other smaller portions, other smaller particles. That small particle he named that as atom. Atom means indivisible. Further division is not possible. According to Democritus, atom is further division is not possible. This is the particle of a matter which further cannot be divided, okay. So that concept was given by these two Indian as well as Greek philosophers, but they won't have the experimental evidence with them, and therefore of course the concept still there in the book, but we don't have any experimental evidence in order to prove this concept, okay. Anu and Paramanu concept given by the Indian philosophers, atom concept was given by the Greek philosopher of approximately at the same time, similar time of that particular Vedic period, okay. And so after the this thing, and in the year 1808, John Dalton is actually school principal, where he used to teach mathematics, chemistry and physics, and he got the position at the early age, and he took the philosopher's concept and he has done some experiment, and based on his concepts and the philosopher's concepts, he has proposed the atomic theory. So the first atomic theory means the theory which can explain about the atom, okay. Atomic theory is the theory which can explain about the atom, okay. So the Dalton is the first person who published the theory of atoms, okay, theory of atoms, that assuming that the atoms are ultimate indivisible particle of matter. So he has taken the concept from Indian philosophers as well as from the Greek philosophers, and according to them the particle, small particle which cannot be divided is called as Anu or Paramanu, or it is maybe atom, and he has taken that atom into consideration, and based on that he has proposed the theory in the year 1808. Of course, you can once if you observe the atomic theory proposals, in the year 1808 Dalton has proposed the atomic theory, and the second atomic theory was proposed after 100 years, after 100 years only. That is to say that you can imagine the geniusness of John Dalton. He is a very great scientist, and his concepts were very great, and he has proposed this atomic theory, and no scientist was dared to touch the theory of Dalton and prove that the concepts given are wrong. Okay. No scientist dared to touch this theory and to say that the concept that is given or the postulate that are given or the important points that are included in the theory are wrong. Okay. It took around 100 years, nobody touched this theory, nearly 100 years. So, 100 years everybody was following Dalton concept that the matter is made up of ultimate indivisible particle, that is atom. Okay. So, let us today look at the Dalton's atomic theory. We will explain the detailed discussion of the Dalton's atomic theory today, and then we focus on the further concepts in the next class. Okay. Let us start with the Dalton's atomic theory. Okay. This theory is called as Dalton's atomic theory. It is the theory of atom given by Dalton. So, we can call it as Dalton's atomic theory. Okay. Yeah, postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay, postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. So, here first one, matter consists of small indivisible particles called atoms. Okay, matter is made up of, whenever you take matter as we classify on physical basis, physical concept as solids, liquids, gases. Okay. So, when you look at the matter as a solid or a gas or a liquid, for example, if you in case of solid, if you take sugar crystals, take some sugar crystal. Okay. So, he says that matter consists of very small indivisible particles called atoms. So, within the matter if you observe, within the sugar crystal if you observe, the sugar crystals are composed of atoms, they are composed of atoms. Okay. So, that is what is given. For example, if you are going to consider any liquid, the liquid is made up of very small particles called atoms. Similarly, gas if you observe, oxygen gas, hydrogen gas, nitrogen gas, anything, any gas if you take, that matter, that gas consists of a small indivisible particles called atom. So, according to John Dalton, matter is made up of atoms, atom is that particle which further cannot be divided. So, he has adopted the concept of the Greek and Indian philosophers. Okay. Yeah, atoms of same element are alike in all respects. Atoms of same element are alike in all respects, whether it is a mass or the properties if you observe the shape, all are same for atoms of an element. For example, if you are taking hydrogen element, hydrogen element consists of only hydrogen atoms. So, if I am taking the hydrogen atoms, so all the atoms of hydrogen are alike in all respects, in all the properties if we observe, all the hydrogen atoms are same only. When you look at their mass, they are same, then look at their the shape and size, they same, they exhibit the same kind of properties, whether it is a physical property or a chemical property. So, the atoms of same element, atoms of one element always will have the same properties with respect to all the properties. If we observe, atoms of same element are alike, they are only of one kind, no other kind is possible, no other atoms are possible. So, if you take any element, whether you take oxygen element, in that case we get only oxygen atom. If you take carbon element, we get only carbon atoms. So all the oxygen atoms of oxygen element are alike in all respects. Similarly, all the carbon atoms of carbon element are alike in all respects. So the properties or the size, mass will be same for all the atoms of an element. If you take one element, correspondingly the atoms of that element will have same mass. So for example, if you take hydrogen element, hydrogen atoms, all the hydrogen atoms will have the same mass, all the hydrogen atoms, the atomic size is also same, the properties will also same, there is no change at all. So that is the first thing that is given in his theory. And if we observe the third one, atoms of different elements are different in all respects. Second postulate is atoms of same element are alike in all respects, they will exhibit the same kind of properties, whether it the atoms of same element. But if you take atoms of different element, for example, if you are going to compare the carbon element and nitrogen element, let us say, okay, let us compare carbon element and nitrogen element. Carbon element is composed of only carbon atoms, okay. Nitrogen element is composed of only nitrogen atoms. Carbon element is composed of carbon atoms only, okay. So all the carbon atoms of carbon elements are alike and they are going to have the same kind of properties. In the case of nitrogen element, it contains nitrogen atoms, all the nitrogen atoms of nitrogen element are alike with respect to the properties, okay. But if you compare atoms of two different elements, if I compare the carbon atom and nitrogen atom, will they exhibit same kind of properties? No, that is what is given here. Atoms of different elements are different in all respects. In all respects they are different, they are going to exhibit different properties. For example, if you observe the atomic number, carbon is 6, mass number is 12, atomic number of nitrogen is 7, mass number is 14. So the masses are different. Carbon will exhibit allotropy, but nitrogen cannot exhibit allotropy. And between the carbon atom can have single bond, double bond, triple bond. Nitrogen atoms will have a triple bond in between them. So here if you observe the properties of the atoms of different elements are different. It is to say that if we have an element, the atoms of that element are same. But if we have two different elements and the corresponding atoms will have different properties, that is what is the concept given by the Dalton. Atoms of different elements are different in all respects, okay. Yeah, atoms combine in small whole numbers to form compound atoms. So here instead of saying as a molecule, Dalton has proposed the name as compound atoms, okay. Nowadays we are calling them as molecules, okay, like water molecule. How the water molecule is obtained? Hydrogen and oxygen are reacting together, okay. So at that time he called the molecule as compound atoms. Of course it is ruled out after the other scientists have not agreed with it, and then now we call them as molecules or compounds, but not as compound atoms, okay. So here what is saying in this particular postulate number 4, atoms combine in small whole numbers. For suppose 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, will they combine with one another, they produce water, H2O, okay. So atoms will combine in small whole numbers to form compound atoms. Compound atoms are going to be formed. For example, hydrogen and hydrogen combining together giving hydrogen as H2 as a compound atom, okay. Similarly, if oxygen atom and oxygen atom are combining together, what we expect? We expect the formation of O2 molecule. So actually Dalton has called the product that is obtained by the combination of different atoms or the combination of atoms as compound atom. He named them as compound atoms, but of course we are replacing that word with a molecule. Okay. So, here hydrogen atom and hydrogen atom combining to give hydrogen compound atom, hydrogen compound atom, and similarly oxygen atom combining giving oxygen O2 compound atom. Now, we call them as oxygen molecule, hydrogen molecule, water molecule, etc. Okay. So, here of course the name is a little tricky, but just imagine how he has taught it. Atoms will combine in that too in a small whole number ratio. So, whole number ratio combination is possible. For example, here if you observe, hydrogen and hydrogen are combining in 1:1, hydrogen and oxygen are combining in 2:1. So, the combination of atoms will take place in small whole number ratio such that the compound atoms are produced. So, in any chemical reaction, whenever we observe, so the combination of atoms will result in the formation of a compound atom, and here the combination will take place, the combination will occur only in a small whole numbers. So, whenever we take any compound, the combination takes place in a small whole number ratio, and thereby the compound atoms are produced. For example, in the case of carbon, carbon is reacting with a 2 moles of 2 oxygen atoms, we get a carbon dioxide. Carbon when react with the 4 hydrogen atoms, we get a CH4. Okay. Similarly, nitrogen when react with the 3 hydrogen atoms will give ammonia. So, the combination of atoms, if you observe, the atoms will combine in a small whole numbers in order to produce the compound atom, that is molecule. Carbon and oxygen reacting in a small whole numbers, that is 1 and 2. Carbon and hydrogen 1 and 4. Nitrogen and hydrogen 1 and 3. Okay. So, these are the combination that we can expect between the atoms of different elements and which result in the formation of compound atoms or molecules. So, according to him, the formation of molecule or compound atoms takes place by the combination of atoms in a whole number ratios. Okay. Right. Right. One more concept he has given. What is that? Atoms can neither be created nor destroyed in a reaction. So, we cannot create atom, we cannot destroy an atom. That is what is the conclusion made by Dalton. So, in any chemical reaction, in anything if you observe, atoms neither be created nor destroyed. So, we cannot create an atom, we cannot destroy an atom. This particular concept is similar to the law of conservation of energy. Energy neither be created nor destroyed, but what we can do? We can convert one form of energy into another form. So, here also in any chemical reaction if you observe, atoms cannot be created in a chemical reaction, atoms cannot be destroyed in a chemical reaction, but what we can do? We can transfer one atom into the other form, one form to the reactant form converting into the product form. That is what is going to happen, but not atoms will be created nor destroyed. This is the concept given by Dalton. For example, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom when they combine to produce H2O. So, what is happening here? We have 2 hydrogen atoms on the left side and 1 oxygen atom on the left side, that is reactant side. So, generally this side we call it as reactant, okay. This side we call it them as products. So, for this particular combination of atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom combining giving H2O compound atom. Now, if you observe the number of atoms and the reactant side and product side for the hydrogen, we have 2 hydrogen atoms. Here also if you observe the H2O, H2O is composed of 2 hydrogen atoms, okay, and whereas one oxygen atom is present, one oxygen atom is present, right. So if we observe the number of atoms at the reactant side and number of atoms at the product side for the hydrogen, they are same. So we are not destroyed the hydrogen atom, we are not created the hydrogen atom here. And if we observe here, oxygen we have one atom, and the reactant side also we product side also we have one oxygen atom. So we have not created one new oxygen atom, or we are not destroyed the oxygen atom. So one oxygen atom present here, one oxygen atom is also present here. In other words, according to statement, atoms can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. For example, in the case of carbon reacting with the 2 moles of hydrogen giving methane, let us say, okay, and if we observe reactant side we have one carbon atom is present at the reactant side. Similarly, how many hydrogens we have? 2 2s are 4, 4 hydrogen atoms are present at the reactant side. So in case of CH4, how many carbon atoms we have? We have one carbon atom. How many hydrogen atoms we have? We have 4 hydrogen atoms. So when you observe the reactant side and the product side, the number of carbon atoms is same and number of hydrogen atoms also same. There is no change in the number of atoms at the reactant side and product side, okay. Please note down this point, I will be back in 1 minute, okay. Right. So these are the examples which clearly indicates that it is not possible for us to create an atom or destroy an atom in a reaction. Then atom is the smallest unit of matter which take part in a chemical reaction. So this is the solid assumption or the postulate that is given by the Dalton, which is true today also. Atom will take part in a chemical reaction. So in chemical reaction, which is taking part? Atom of an element is taking part, atom of a molecule is going to take part in a chemical reaction. So atom is the smallest unit of the matter which will take part in a chemical reaction. So in a chemical reaction, atom is going to participate, atom will participate in the reaction and thereby the reaction will takes place. As we have seen in this case, for example, if we are going to take a nitrogen molecule reacting with the hydrogen molecule giving ammonia, okay. So if you going to observe here the number of molecules of ammonia that we can obtain, 1 mole of nitrogen will react with the 3 moles of hydrogen giving 2 moles of ammonia. If we can write this in other way around, half mole of nitrogen reacting with the 3/2 mole of hydrogen giving 1 mole of NH3. 1/2 of N2 means 1 N only, okay, 1 nitrogen, okay, reacting with the 3/2 of H2, 2 into 3, 6, 6/2, 3. So 3 hydrogen atoms, 1 nitrogen atom, 3 hydrogen atoms are combining and giving 1 NH3. Other words, we can write it as nitrogen molecule and hydrogen molecule are reacting in 1:3 ratio giving 2 moles of NH3, okay. So here in this reactions, which is participating? Here nitrogen atom is participating in the reaction. Here hydrogen atoms are participating in the reaction. So, whenever we look at a chemical reaction, any chemical reaction you consider, in that chemical reaction atom is going to take part. So, which is going to take part in a chemical reaction? Atom of an element is going to take part in a chemical reaction. Atom of the molecule is going to take part in the chemical reactions. Okay. So, these are the postulates, 6 postulates that are given by the John Dalton. So, first postulate is matter is made up of very tiniest of the small particles called atoms. Okay. Atoms of a same element are alike in all respects. Okay. Atoms of different elements are different in their properties. Okay. And then we have atoms neither be created nor destroyed. In a chemical reactions, atoms will combine in a whole numbers to give compound atoms, and in a chemical reaction atom is the only particle that is participating. So, these are the 6 different postulates given by John Dalton. Yes. So, what was of course, as I told you, nearly 100 years no scientist dared to touch this particular concept given by John Dalton, and everybody was agreed that yes, the postulates given, the concepts given are true. Okay. And moreover, Dalton theory was able to explain successfully the law of conservation of mass. So, the law of conservation of mass is neither the atom is created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. It is going to give us the law of conservation of mass. Law of constant proportion. So, whenever atoms will combine with one another, they will always have the whole number ratio reactivity. And law of multiple proportion, of course, law of multiple proportion was given by John Dalton only. So, that John Dalton's atomic theory is able to successfully able to explain law of conservation of mass, law of constant proportion, law of multiple proportion, but it has some drawbacks. It is explaining the law of conservation of mass. Okay. Law of conservation of mass is explained. Law of constant composition is explained, or constant proportion is explained by John Dalton's atomic theory, and also the law of multiple proportion is also explained. I think we have already gone through all these laws, right? The laws of chemical combination we have discussed. Conservation of mass, constant proportion, multiple proportion. So, we have discussed all these laws. Dalton law was in well agreement with these laws, or you can say that Dalton's atomic theory was clearly explaining all these things in a successful manner, but it has some drawbacks. It has failed to explain many properties of atoms and matter. Though Dalton has taken matter is made up of atoms, and atoms of an element are same, atoms of different elements are different, but this theory could not explain many properties of atom as well as matter. So, there are some drawbacks that we can come across with respect to the Dalton's atomic theory. What are the drawbacks of Dalton's atomic theory? It is failed to explain the internal structure of atoms. Dalton says that matter, whenever you take a matter, matter is made up of atoms, there is no doubt. When you go on cutting the matter into small pieces, you are going to end up a stage where you are going to have only a small particle called atom, which is further cannot be divided. But if we observe the atoms that we are going to see, okay, the atom that we are going to see, if you observe, there is no clear explanation about the structure of the atom. What is exactly the structure of atom, how it looks, what are the components, nothing is explained. He says that matter is made up of atom, but there is no explanation, and he says that atom will have no structure, there is no structure to the atom according to the John Dalton concept. But of course, we know we have come across the different arrangement of the particles in atom, the spherical structure is taken for the atom. Okay. So, here there is no structure for the atom is given by the John Dalton. It is to say that the Dalton's theory could not explain the internal structure of atom and assumed that atoms will have no structure at all. There is no structure to the atom. Okay. And it could not explain how atoms of different elements differ from one another. The atoms, how the atom, let us say hydrogen atom and oxygen atom if you take, how these two atoms are different from each other, in which respect they are different from each other, that concept was not clearly explained by the John Dalton or the atomic theory. Okay. So, here it could not explain how atoms of different elements differ from one another, how they are going to differ from one another, that is not explained. Next one, it could not explain how atoms of different elements combine with one another. What is the driving force for the combination of atoms of elements? Why the atom? What is the need that two hydrogen atoms are react to with the one oxygen atom giving water molecule? Why the atoms should react? It could not explain how the atoms are reacting, how the reactions are going on, how the atoms are reacting in whole numbers only, why the compound atom formation takes place by the combination of atoms. So, there is no explanation, clear explanation that how the atoms of different elements will combine with one another, and in that case compound atom is generated, how the reaction is going on. There is no clear explanation for this one. So, we can see that three drawbacks can be seen with respect to the Dalton's atomic theory. First one is there is no structure, atom has no structure. Second one is how the different elements atoms are differ from one another. Then when there is no structure, how they are going to differ from one another. And in one more thing is that in case of the combination, how atoms are going to be combined with one another, how different elements atoms are combining with one another and giving compound atom. So, all these concepts were not clear in atomic theory proposed by Dalton. Okay. Then of course, through the experiments or through the so many scientific investigations that took place over the years, as I told you 100 years nearly nobody was touched it. So, these 100 years so many experiments were carried out. So, through that experiments the subatomic particles were considered, they are called as fundamental particles of atom. Okay. So, here modern discoveries if you observe, the modern discoveries showed that atom is no longer an indivisible particle. Atom is no longer indivisible particle, that is to say that atom can be further divided. According to the Dalton's atomic theory, matter is made up of small particle called atom. What is atom? Atom is indivisible particle, but atom, when you look at the modern discoveries, in that case according to them the atom is further divided, it is no longer indivisible particle, now it becomes a divisible particle. So, we can divide the atom further, that is what is the statement. Okay. It has been broken down into smaller fragments, it has broken down into smaller fragments, they are called as electrons, protons and neutrons. Electrons, protons and neutrons. So, according to the concept of Dalton, atom is indivisible particle, okay, indivisible particle, the small particle of atom. This is the concept given by Dalton. Okay. But of course, when you look at the modern discoveries which we are going to see in the next classes. Okay. So, in that case if you observe, the atom is further divided into electron, proton and neutron, electron, proton and neutron. So, atom can be further divided into electrons, protons and neutrons. Of course, different experiments were carried out, the vacuum tube experiments were carried out, okay, and thereby the presence of electrons in the atom, presence of protons in the atom, presence of neutrons in the atom were given. Okay. we are going to see how the electrons were discovered, how the protons were discovered, what is exactly the properties of these particles, etc. Okay. And here if you observe, as the atom can be divided into subatomic particles like electron, proton, neutron, etc. So, there are around 35 subatomic particles are present, but of course, we are looking at electron, protons and neutron. These three particles are called fundamental particles. These are called as fundamental particles. So, electron, proton, neutron are called fundamental particles. So, these are the fundamental particles that are present in the atom. That is to say that atom can be further divided into the smaller fragments like electron, protons and neutron. How the electron, protons and neutrons were discovered, we are going to see in the next class. Until then, have a nice time. Thank you.